ready to go to our first PD. But that is the outside view of the library that I took you guys to yesterday. Someone said it's made to look like an open book. I haven't seen that, but I wasn't really paying attention. So yeah, we're on our way, we're on the train, we're on our way to the two of the PD. The first half we know for sure we're going to visit a preschool, so any preschool teachers out there, this would be of interest to you. And then after that, I think we're speaking to students. There's a little bit of uncertainty because the schedule may have changed a little bit, but for sure we're starting with preschool students. And this is our long day of professional development. So we have like 2 sessions of it. There is no built-in sightseeing in between, so we're kind of loud on the train right now, but we're ready. We're excited.
Nuorimmat lapset, jotka voi aloittaa, meillä ovat 10 kuukautta ja sitten vanhimmat ovat täyttäneet 7 vuotta. Suomessa lähdetään kouluun sinä vuonna, kun lapsi täyttää 7 vuotta.
So the youngest kids that can be here are 10 months old and then up to the preschool or preschool level, which is the year you turn 7 you start school in Finland. So from 10 months to
Ja siinä vuonna, kun lapsi täyttää 6 vuotta, niin hän on esikoulussa ja meillä on täällä päiväkodissa myös esikoulu.
So I don't know what the correct term for the year, like year 0. Is that do you call that preschool?
Pre-K, preschool.
No, that's infant. So it's daycare.
Yeah, but that 1 year before you go to
Preschool.
or kindergarten. Which one is it?
They go kinder is when you're 5, first grade is when you're 6.
Yeah, okay. So
And then preschool is when you're 4.
So pre-K.
Okay, when I talk about preschool, or we mean that year 0 before year 1.
So kindergarten.
But kindergarten is the right term.
Right.
This is the art room. I know it. Stop it.
One table.
You're so professional. You knew not to get in that shot. So we're taking a tour of the school. As you guys can see, it is a beautiful school. It's a new school. It's, I think, only been open 7 months. It's an experimental like school, so not all schools are designed like this, but it's gorgeous.
Also, the children. They can play here. There's house and some
Okay. Oh, this is this is that's the teacher's lounge in there. It's a very
June, what day?
we don't know. Oh, look, one copy machine.
Sure. Let's go with that.
This is the teacher's lounge here. That's the director's office. What? Space. I know.
Oh, the literally one of the ones that you can actually
Here they welcome fidget spinners. There's containers of these everywhere.
I like how they have boards for these. I didn't know because I got the ones from Target Dollar Store.
Oh, hashtag blocks.
Yeah, that's what we call them. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you?
I've never.
Hashtag blocks.
I use them with my 5th graders with soft starts.
These are like.
What do you guys call?
Here we have like a chain of daycare centers where they spend every day outside.
Okay.
They're more specialized.
Yeah, like a
Different types of-
outdoor learning type of thing,
Okay.
and that might. But as you heard, this cost as well. I don't know if the cost is probably not much more. Or,
So this is
but in
an
these private
example
ones,
of their
they
anti-bullying sign.
it's just-
They are learned to say, stop, I don't like that, as the first way to resolve their issues with their classmates. This is another example of their choice board where they want to go. And then you can see they have these flags up from different countries.
80 euros a month, and I think
Multiculturalism is very important to them here.
any of that. So, and she talked about.
Okay, we just finished lunch. I look really dramatic with my blanket scarf on my hand because it's not even raining, but I'm just prepared. We just had lunch at that place, I think you pronounce it Fafa's, super good. And now we are looking for a bus to take back to the location we were yesterday. It's like, we keep forgetting the name of it because it's kind of long. It's the Finnish National Education Agency, I think. So we're trying to take a bus so that we don't have to walk all the way there. So yeah, Shamika's back there somewhere. There she is with Jill. Some friends are in front of me. I think what I'm gonna do is at the end of each day, I'll have to like sit down and give you guys my like takeaways from the day. But today's visit to the preschool was really, really good. I took a lot of notes, which I'm surprised by since I don't teach preschool and I have no desire to. I was just very impressed and into what that particular school was doing. So I will definitely be sharing my notes with you guys on that. So we're off to the next session and then I'll check in with you guys.
And I think I liked the, I don't know if they did that up here at night, but I liked how on their PowerPoint, how they had like, this is the student's role, this is the staff role, and very interesting. They had like a PowerPoint, like this is I guess, this is why we and I think that would be cool to do. No wonder why or something. Do extra. It's like her words. But also in our mouth, I think we're going to incorporate a lot of play into our academics. Just thinking when I got first grade math, like, it was like all that.
Yeah. So that was really cool. Did you get pictures? Yeah, I took pictures of like the names. I was like, we need to know like what exactly brand it is and where to order from. So yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah. Like how they were teaching colors to the flags and eventually expanded that so that they would know what the flags were and that it was a diverse school and that she really valued it. Like that's what I was like, oh.
It's too many in the middle. But the idea is that we will have always one free chair. So we need 5 volunteers first, go in and sit. And the conversation will happen inside the fishbowl. But all of us, please come closer. And the idea is that you're going to start talking about something. I can decide it, or the students can bring in, stuff. And if we want to take part, there is a free chair. If somebody sits in, one of you has to get up. So that there is always a free chair. So that, And of course, I mean, this is not all about talking. This is also about listening skills. So, and that's what I sort of, with my talker students and my sort of more introvert students, try to make personal goals that today you're always in. So how about today in practice?
listening, and so on.
It's a nice way to say it.
If you never dare to go in, we might make like this month once. You try it. I'll help you. But anyway, today's topic is
The Bachelorette.
No. This was the topic I was thinking about. Okay, since you come from the land of standardized testing, but there is proof, and maybe you have cracked the code as well, how to teach innovatively and student-centeredly, and the kids do well. Talk about that. How does it happen? Why? What's the secret sauce?
To having students perform well on standardized tests?
To have innovative and student-centered pedagogy, and the students are doing well in the test. Where you talk, because you constantly talk about, many of us talk about that, some teachers teach to the test. But how do you not to do that?
We're doing inside circle, outside circle, and learning some Finnish. I'm going to video myself.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Moi.
Moi.
Mene.
Ian okay. Ian okay.
Mikä sun nimi on?
Ian, like Ian Oko. Okay. And then Moon Nimi Ian Latanya.
Moi moi.
So we are on a break. We just learned some different strategies he uses in his classroom to make sure he has like a student-centered classroom. My favorite strategy so far is fishbowl, because I had never done that before. I don't even think I've heard of it before. So while we're on this break, we're hoping that the students show up. No, that sounds bad. We're waiting for the students to show up. They will be here, because I think I just saw them in the lobby. And I think they're teenagers, and the oldest might be 20. So we're just kind of free to ask them any questions we have. I kind of want to know how they feel about school, because I know as a 5th grade teacher, when I would have my old 5th graders come back after being in middle school for a while, they would always come back and have like this nostalgic feeling about elementary school, about that was when they thought school was fun, and then when they go to middle school they seem to lose like that feeling of fun. So I'm wondering if that's something they feel, and if not, that might mean we're doing something wrong in the United States once kids get to that level. But I'm just curious to hear what they have to say, and then when we're done with them, I think we're done with the PD portion of today. So there's Tia pretending to be busy.
I am. I'm doing it, girl. Yes.
I have some friends across the table, but I don't know if they want to be on camera. Would you guys like to be on camera? One says no, one's gonna wait. There she is. So, yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So we just finished our professional development of the day. These are the sweet high school girls that chatted with us. Hi! They did a great job, provided some insight. You want to say your name?
I'm Ani.
Sonny.
I'm Mira. Julia.
And they are like the cutest high school students I've ever seen. Their makeup and style is on point. And I need to be better. But they did a great job. So we're just so happy to meet them. They did an awesome job. Well, I guess I'll say good evening. Shamika just informed me it's 10:24. despite the fact that you see sunlight popping off my face because it's light outside. I've been here since Saturday. It's Thursday, and you would think by now I still wouldn't be like shocked by the fact that it's 10:30 at night, and if I wanted to, I can go out and jog a mile at minimum and still come home and it not be dark. That's beside the point. So today was the second day of professional development. I can't remember the last thing I said, but it was hours ago, and I think we were on our way back. Yeah, I think it was after lunch, and we were on our way back to the educational center to talk about communication in the classroom, and then talk to some Finnish high school students, which we did, and I'll get to that in a second. But in the morning, we started off the day by going to a preschool, and I think the town or the city was called Vantaa, which is outside of Helsinki. First things first, they let us know that this particular preschool was an experimental learning environment. So they wanted us to know that what we were seeing there was not really the norm for preschool children on a day-to-day basis in other cities. So for them, preschool would be considered what we also call daycare through like kindergarten, really, because they can have kids from the ages of infancy all the way up to 7. 7 years old is where they are, is when they are officially required to start school. If they start and they start at the kindergarten level, and they are required to have 4 hours of instruction a day, but kindergarten was not mandatory 4 years ago. So, given the fact that this is a experimental learning environment, a couple of things they pointed out that was interesting is that the kids are active participants in developing the things that they want to include. So they involve the kids in ideas that they have to see if the ideas that they have actually play out the way that they believe that they will. And their main objective is to teach kids to play and increase their activity and interactions with each other. And their goal is to have students be involved in active movement for a minimum of 3 hours a day. And they have 3 main focuses. So again, play is one of those 3 main focuses, physical activity, and the integration of technology. Now, when they talk about the integration of technology, for them, it really is using things like augmented reality. They had GoPro cameras, where for us right now, when we talk, or at least in my experience, at that age when we're talking about integrating technology, the technology is used as a tool to like administer like a test or something. So at that school, the staff is empowered to come up with these new and innovative ideas. They are also provided training, but they are really encouraged to just come up with things that are kind of outside of the box and out of the norm. The school was very nice, as you saw in the little clips that I have. It is culturally appropriate to take your shoes off when you enter the school. So we did have to take our shoes off at the very beginning. And some of this you may have already seen. It's just, I don't know how the footage came out. So some of this might be redundant. And if it is, I apologize. But in terms of the kids, they really are just given the freedom to just free play all day. There are some segments of the day where they have this little board, and it's kind of like a choice board where the kids indicate what content area, what area do they want to play in. So I think what she was explaining is, whereas before they would have these pre-designated areas that kids would go into, and there were already assigned activities for those areas. Now they may have areas, but there's no designated, this is what you're going to do in that area. They kind of want the kids to get there and explore that area and come up with it themselves. And they could be picking it based on what is in that area, or they may be picking it based on who else is in that area. And whoever they're playing with, they could be playing with that same group of kids for a couple of days. So I thought that was interesting. So it says some of the play groups last for a week, and this idea is research-based that shows that it helps the kids become more innovative if they spend a little bit more time together, and that their play gradually evolves as they play with each other for longer periods of time. So the other notes that I have, what is this? Morning age group once a week. Oh, some of this I'll skip, but as part of their play, they take them outside to play also. They do have a playground that I got some footage of, but they also take them out into the woods sometimes and have them just explore out there, which again is not something that is necessarily normal in the United States in terms of going out into the woods, and it's not like a field trip. That could be because they happen to be in an area where there's a lot of wooded area, but the teachers that were in that room, who are from all different parts of the country, all kind of reacted with the like, wow, that's interesting. They do have an anti-bullying, like a social emotional aspect. They are teaching the kids the code. They are supposed to learn how to say stop. I don't like that. They have a movement. It is stop. I don't like that. And they really encourage kids to solve their own problems. So if I'm on the playground and I'm playing with my friend Shamika, who's here, and Shamika does something that I don't like, my first response needs to be to do the whole stop. I don't like that. And if Shamika responds and follows my directives of don't do that, then it's resolved. I don't need to go tell a teacher. They don't want to be involved. Like, they're done with it. But if I do that and then Shamika doesn't like respond the way that I'm asking her to, then I go tell a teacher. But that teacher's first question to me is going to be, did you give her the code? Stop. I don't like that. And if the student says, yes, I did, but she kept doing it, then there will be some appropriate consequence. But if they say, no, I didn't, then they're going to be retrained to make sure that you say that when that happens to you again in the future. So kids of all ages at that school are taught that same procedure. Kids are taught at a very young age, and they are introduced to the concept first with song, and they're just learning the concept of the word stop. At the school, it was very multicultural. There are 23 languages being spoken. 56 of the population, is not Finnish. And again, that may be different from preschool to preschool, and it just varies depending on where you are. Students are learning things like colors and numbers and letters through the use of international flags. So there were international flags on all the tables where they eat at, and that's one way that they help them to identify different colors by using the colors that are present in the flag. And the school's director, who's the one that led this, is really adamant to keep it that way. She's very proud of the fact that it's multicultural, and she wants to keep it that way. They do have a space for celebrating different cultures that are outside of the Finnish culture. And in terms of enrollment, because someone asked, like, you know, how do you decide who's enrolled? They are going to prioritize kids that have siblings. So if I have a child already at that preschool, and now it's time for another one of my children to enroll, just because I already have one there, I'm higher on the priority list of getting my second child enrolled. If I have a kid and I want them to attend that preschool, but I have 2 cars, I am now moved down the list of priority because they really want to service the people that maybe have transportation issues. So of course they can't accept everyone, but they do have a system as to how they decide who's going to get accepted and who is not going to get accepted. The other thing that was very interesting and very different is that gender and family dynamics and gender sensitivity is a part of the curriculum. So it's not an issue for them to talk about families having 2 dads or 2 moms, whereas I know in my experience that's really a topic that you have to be very careful about discussing in class. And the other thing, with it being so diverse, they strongly encourage the kids to speak in their own language, because they feel like the more a child is able to speak in their, they call it the mother tongue, whereas we would call it their native language, then that's only going to help them to develop language skills in Finnish. So they encourage it, whereas I feel like for us, we're more focused on the assimilation of immigrant students, and we want them to learn English as fast as possible, and in some ways let go of their native language while they're at school. The other interesting thing is there is an adult school that also comes in. This is probably cute's not the right word. Like, this is one of the things that I really liked. So there's an adult school somewhere in the area where these are adults who are coming here, going to school because they've immigrated from another country, and they're trying to get on the path to higher education in Finland, but there are requirements that they have to fulfill. But they'll come to the school and read to students using picture books in those students' native language. So let's say I am a Russian immigrant living in Finland, and I'm going to this adult school on a monthly basis. I'm going to go visit the preschool with books that are in the Russian language, and I'm going to read it to the students who also speak Russian. I thought that was great. So those are the highlights of the preschool. In the afternoon, after lunch, we went back to the educational center, and then that's when Petteri was leading the professional development, and it was really focusing on communication and collaboration in the classroom. He's really big on trying to take a step back and doing less of the talking and let the students do more of the talking. And he showed us a few strategies. One was called the date clock, where I took these little notes. So you have a topic of discussion, there it is, and you have a 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You set appointments with your classmates, and you're going to talk to those particular people at that particular time on a given topic. I think I've done that before in a PD, but I've never done it as a teacher. Then my favorite one was fishbowl, which I took some footage of. You have 6 chairs in a circle. One of the chairs stays empty. You pose a question. Those 5 students are discussing it. Anyone that's not in that circle of 5 with that empty chair is welcome to come into that empty chair. So let's say, like today we were talking about state testing. In the middle of the footage you saw, there was a circle with 6 chairs. We started out with 5 teachers sitting. He posed a question about state testing. They started discussing. When someone from the outside circle had something to say, they were welcome to come into that 6th chair. But as soon as someone sits in that 6th chair, one of the people that was already there must leave. So at all times, there's only 5 people physically sitting in a chair, and there's always 1 chair open. And if you're not in that circle, you're just there to listen. So I really, really liked that. He talked about Socratic seminar, which I'm not going to go too much into because a lot of us know about that. They do cooperative seating, so they want kids to be sitting in groups, not in rows, groups of 4 that are heterogeneous. But what I thought was interesting is they keep those kids in those seats for an extended period of time, like a whole term. Whereas I know I've always been looked down upon by some teachers because it takes me a long time to switch seats. I might keep kids in seats for a whole trimester, and a lot of people say that's not a good thing because you need to give kids some different scenery. But I kind of do it, A, because I'm lazy, if I were to be honest. B, I have other things that are more important than seating arrangements and changing it. And C, sometimes I just think it's important for kids to be able to work together for a long period of time to really establish like good dynamics. And so that's kind of what I felt like he was saying there with their rationale and seating. So after that, we got to meet some Finnish high school students, 4 girls, who I know I got some clips up to just kind of talk to them about their experience and their lives as students living in Finland. They were very well spoken, very sweet. We were all like in love with them by the time they left because they just had great personalities. But I think they were just shocked by our high school dynamic where all the kids go to school at the same time. And we were just as shocked by the fact that they don't, and just really trying to wrap our minds around the fact that when kids complete the 9th grade or when they're about 15 years old, they're kind of like done with high school if they want to be. Or they start going to school, and the school that they're going to is modeled like college courses. So it was just interesting and just fun at the same time. But that was day 2 of professional development. I feel like I talked really fast. Hopefully everything that I said was clear and made sense. But if you have questions or you need something clarified, leave it in the comment section. I will do the best that I can. Tomorrow is going to be day 3, and it is the last day of professional development. And in the morning, we have a training on, I feel like it's project-based learning, because that's the one we haven't done yet. Yeah, project-based learning. We'll have lunch, and then in the afternoon, we'll get to talk to some teachers that teach in Finland, and then kind of go from there. So it's late at night, even though you can't tell. Let me show you again what it looks like. This is what it looks like at 10:38. So despite the fact that it looks like that, I need to take a shower and go to bed. I am kind of tired. My feet were killing me today. We've been doing a lot of walking, but I'm going to end today's vlog here, and I will see you tomorrow for day 3.